Well, hello! Mwah, mwah, mwah. Welcome to the Magical Mystery School. And thank you so much for coming back. And for all my wonderful subscribers, thank you, my lighthearted subscribers. I super appreciate it. And what we're going to do, this is astrology class 44. And we're going to kind of start doing the wrap up for real. I know I've been threatening you with this for over a couple of classes. But don't worry, this isn't the final chapter. We are going to have more chapters to the Magical Mystery School. But we're going to move away from astrology. And in the next class, I'm going to talk about the future of the channel. And I would super love it if you would watch that, because I'm going to ask for your input, and I'd really like to know what you think. Now, I'm going to do my public service announcements that I try to remember to do once in a while. But remember, everything on here is strictly for entertainment, nothing serious going on. Also, the only way I will communicate with you is through the comments. So if you get an email from someone who's saying, Auntie E has a message for you. No, that's not me. I will not ask for your phone numbers or, heaven forbid, credit card numbers, nothing like that at all. So I'm not even monetized. You have to have at least 1,000 subscribers. So I'm working on it, but that will come in due time, I'm sure. But I don't have any memberships. There's just no way to get me money. So do not give money to anyone who's saying they're me. I'm not on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, none of those things. So as of December 2023, I'm not monetized, and the best thing you can do for me is like and subscribe. So, okay. So, we're wrapping up Beginners for Astrology, and something you may have noticed is we've definitely gone into intermediate a little bit in these last few classes. But like I've said, these metaphysical studies, the more and more you read them and study them, the bigger and bigger they get. So when I started these videos, and I thought I was going to do 12 or so, I had a few goals, and one of the goals was I wanted to give you enough information about astrology that you could just decide if you liked it or not. I mean, there's some people out there, they may think it was cool, but the more they learn, like, oh my God, I got to do numbers and the geometry, and no, not for me. And that's fine. There's tons of other avenues to learn information like this. So one was just to find out, let you figure out if you liked it or not, so you don't have to pay for a class and find it out. Second, I wanted to give you a great foundation so you could go on and study other astrology. And I thought it was really cool. The other day I was reading my Mountain Astrologer, and what did I see? This advertisement for a medical astrology class. And that's, it's actually through the Mountain Astrologer website. So I imagine it'd be pretty reputable, but I can't really recommend it or not recommend it either way, because I don't know the astrologer. But this is exactly what I hope you've learned enough that you could take a class like this and you would be the star pupil. You would know all the basics and could just hit the ground running, basically. So that was another thing. And of course, watching these other wonderful YouTube astrologers out there. And I think it was when I was actually watching Rick Levine one time. I was watching him, and I remember kind of sitting back at one point and going, if I didn't know astrology, I think my brain would explode right now. So anyway, I'm going to go through all the astrologers that I recommend so that you have that information. I've kind of talked about these people a little bit here and there, but just as a group here at the end. So Rick Levine, he does a great monthly astrological update, and he does other things, collaborations and stuff. but he does, and he has a Patreon, and he does offer classes, but they're usually on these upper level things. But just feel confident that you do now have the basics. Another one that you all know I really like is Pam Gregory. She's she does not do personal readings, and did I say that Rick Levine doesn't do personal readings, as far as I know. But she does a full moon and a new moon YouTube update every month. And she does have like a class on her webpage that you could take and understand her new and full moon readings a little better and how it relates to your chart. So anyway, so that's Pam Gregory, and she doesn't do private readings, but she does, and she has wonderful conversations with other astrological thinkers and stuff like that. And then there's this gal, and I always want to say Denise Knight, but it's Denise Knight, and her webpage is Denise Knight Divination, and then her YouTube channel is called Spiritual Growth, Tarot, and Astrology. And she's fabulous too. She does a weekly astrological update. It's very thorough and very enlightening. And she also does private readings, and I have had a private reading with her, and she did a great job. I really, really enjoyed it. So that's Denise. And then there's this guy, Andre Kahn, Kahn, if you can read that. He's on YouTube also, and he does private readings, and I had a reading with him, and I get around. I want to check out these people. And he's, I believe he does classes too. I don't know quite as much about him, but he did a great job with private reading. And like I've always said, a private reading, that's the best way to get started. And then, of course, there's Kim Marie, and Marie is her last name. And you could, she's not that active on YouTube, but this is her website, Evolutionary Astrology Network. And you can just Google Kim Marie Astrologer, and you'll get there. But she does private readings, and she's literally been my astrologer for decades. And like I said, sometimes we just miss things in our own chart, no matter how great we think we are. Okay. Oh, and I wanted to mention one thing, because people have asked about software. And this is the software, I literally ripped this right out of my Mountain Astrologer. It's called Solar Fire. So that's the software program I use. And I have literally used this program for over 30 years. And I thought you guys might get a kick out of this. This is literally when I got it on these 3.5-inch floppy disks. So that shows you how old it is. Yeah, when I was getting my software, it was Solar Fire or Matrix. And long story anyway, I've been very happy with that program. But I tell you what, you young people out there, you are a ton better at this. You can check out softwares or subscription services now. So you guys are probably a lot better than me about all this kind of stuff. Okay, now finally I did want to talk a little bit about, well, astrology is my first love in this magical, mysterious world of metaphysics. And what astrology has done for me has really helped me understand that this life on this beautiful planet is just this amazing adventure. We're taking paths and hitting dead ends and coming back and doing U-turns and all sorts of things. But astrology has been so helpful for me plotting out my own path in life. Now, it has given me a much, much deeper understanding of myself and others, but the other thing I really wanted to point out about astrology at this point is that it really does help lift your vibration. And you can look at this as lifting your energy, lifting your consciousness, because you may be unaware of it, because it is so subtle. But just studying astrology, you're starting to shift. You're going to start noticing that you're seeing the world differently. And you'll even, people, I mean, I have this happen every once in a while. Somebody will, after they get to know me a little bit, they'll say, you just look at the world kind of differently. And it's true. And I'll go, oh, really? I can't imagine why. Because I'm not like one of these people who's like, I love astrology. I kind of wait to make sure their astrology open. But anyway, a lot of this has to do with that right and left side of your brain I was telling you about. Because remember, that right side of your brain is silent. It's nonverbal. It's the left side of your brain that's like, oh, do I like that person? Do you think that person likes me? What do you think? Should we do this? Should we do, that's your left side of your brain. The right side of your brain, it sees all these symbols that we've been learning, and the geometry and the wheel and the cross and the squares and everything else. And it gets it. It knows it. It understands it. And not only will you become, it's like that right side of your brain is sort of helping you align to who you truly are, but in a silent way. It's really kind of cool. And not only will you start to really understand yourself and your own deep inner self, and understand other people too. You'll become more accepting, more patient of others, but you're also going to become braver and more courageous because you know who you are. And well, I shouldn't say no. You're getting a better understanding of who you are. And you're understand that, yeah, I'm going to mess up. I'm going to make mistakes. But I'm going to pick myself up and I'm going to, hey, that was a Saturn transit. Ooh, yippee, here comes a Uranus transit, okay? So you are going to become braver and more yourself, basically. So with astrology, yes, we can look at the past. We can look at where we are right now, but we can also look and see who we're becoming. Because, what is that old saying? The only constant in life is change. And that's very, very true. I mean, who we were 5 minutes ago is not who we're going to be in 5 minutes. So, and finally, another thing I want to mention is how important meditation is, and how you can use astrology as a tool in your meditation. Now, I've got a little playlist on meditation with a lot of ideas, how to get you started. You got to convince your body to sit down and be quiet for starts, and then you can start working on your brain. But I know I can speak from personal experience on this. There's been times when I felt overwhelmed, frustrated, down, something's going on, and I do what I call, I go do my astrology. And I don't know what it is. I'm gazing at that chart, I'm looking at the numbers, I'm looking up stuff in the ephemeris, playing around with things and going, oh, my progressed moon is this, and, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking, and there's something about doing my astrology that just calms me down. I become more centered. I'm not so full of anxiety and angst and that kind of thing. So maybe, use your astrology to help you get into a meditative state. And maybe that is your meditation. And like I said, do really, even if it's 5 minutes a day where you're looking out a window or reading a book or something like that. So you can get into, I think what you're doing is getting over in that right side of your brain. So anyway, I think I've gone on long enough for this class. And I do want to let you know the next class is going to be super interesting for me anyway, to talk about the future. And I'm not giving up on astrology by any means. I'm going to integrate it up quite a bit because that's where I'm coming from. But we will talk about the future, and I really would love to have your input. So everybody, have a great weekend or whatever's up for you guys. And just remember, from there to here, from here to there, funny things are everywhere. And clock is telling us it's time to say goodbye. Good night.